Hey, what's up everybody, it's Chris from Holy Eats, and today we're on our second episode in the Will Smith series, and it's done over none other than Hancock. I know what you're thinking, the alcoholic superhero can't have anything to do with God, and that, my friends, is where you'd be wrong. Hancock undoubtedly has some issues, but his godliness is surprisingly above the norm. Here are 4 things from Hancock that are like God. The appearance of God. As much as we all like to tiptoe around it, at some point we've all wondered what God actually looks like. The general consensus is that nobody knows. However, the Bible gives a pretty good description of what the Son of Man really looks like. In the book of Revelation, John describes Christ saying he had hair that was white like sheep's wool and his feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace. Now there are some other details mentioned, but what I'm getting at is that Jesus looked like this. John's essentially revealing Jesus' complexion. Will Smith is almost exactly the same color as the book of Revelation describes Jesus. Now unfortunately, the Bible is mum on most of the other details about Jesus' looks, but from what we do know, in terms of complexion, the Fresh Prince could be a stunt double for God. Jail. We've already established that Hancock is a superhero, however, he hasn't always had the finesse of the modern-day Man of Steel. Usually, Hancock arrives in clunky fashion, battering up buildings and trashing city streets. He's got a knack for fighting crime and saving people, he just so happens to cause millions of dollars in damage whenever he does. It's these blunders that have led political figures to call him to serve 8 years of hard time. Thanks to a rebranding strategy, Hancock decides to go on his own free will. That's right, he chooses to go to jail. I mean, it's not like they can physically force him to go there. It just so happens that Jesus went to jail too. When Jesus came back to life, one of the things he did was go to the place of imprisoned spirits, that is, as some would say, the underworld, to proclaim his victory. Like Hancock, nobody forced him to go, but it's a testament to his strength, dominance, and obedience to the Father. The chains of death couldn't even hold Jesus, and as the word says, he was dead, but was made alive in the spirit, and now holds the keys of death and Hades. An invitation. When Hancock goes to jail, he goes with the expectation that one day the people will invite him back to society in need of a hero. Well, it's a sound idea, but it doesn't exactly happen right away. Hancock gets some much-needed assistance on how to interface with the public. It's a painful process, but it prepares him for his triumphant return. Sure enough, Hancock's absence leads to an increase in villains on the street, just the opportunity he needs to give the people the hero they deserve. In a similar fashion, Jesus has been gone for a while, and you could argue that the world hasn't exactly gotten better. We couldn't understand how much we needed him until he left, but now is the time for us to invite him back. We have to make a conscious effort to invite him into everything we do if we want to see a change. Jesus is our hero, and we all need to put up a welcome sign and let him know how much we appreciate him. Frankenstein. One of the things that Hancock reveals to us is that he doesn't remember who he is. It's later explained that the ill-mannered Superman took a blow to the head 80 years ago that gave him amnesia. He doesn't remember anything, but one of the clues he has to discovering who he really is are 2 tickets to Frankenstein. You may be thinking, what does that mean? Hancock doesn't resemble Frankenstein by any means, but there may be something hidden in the monster's background that makes us think of God. You're right, there is. If you know anything about Frankenstein, then you remember he's actually comprised of parts from 7 different men. Creepy as that sounds, there's symbolism there for God. In the book of Revelation, John wrote about the 7 spirits who stand before Jesus' throne. The different parts of Frankenstein symbolize the 7 spirits. The fact that one of the only clues Hancock has to discover himself is related to Frankenstein is no coincidence. The symbolism may not be in your face, but it's enough to suggest that it has something to do with God. Well, that's it for Hancock, so thanks for tuning in. We're just getting into the Will Smith series, so make sure you come back and visit us to see what's new. Remember, if you like this video and you want to see more, make sure you like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. As always, there's more Holy Eats on the way, but until next time, keep Christ first.